up, everybody? Welcome to the IAG Thursday Thing, this thing that we do every Thursday. At least we try our best. And where we hang out inside of our Discord and record it, so then it becomes a podcast. And we talk about whatever the topics may be for this week. And this week we have some topics. We had a hell of an experience at Road America with Boogeyman, our time attack car, and we have some cool new products. I told everybody we were gonna start dumping products left and right. We had a whole bunch of cool stuff coming, and it's all starting to come right at the same time, which is pretty sweet. As usual, I'm joined by my partner in crime, Warranty. Warranty, how you doing today, bud?
Dewey, I'm doing great. I have important news for you. The Ohio Supreme Court recently ruled that boneless wings may in fact have bones. And when they have bones, you might get hurt and you cannot sue people about it. That's what you need to know this week.
Yes. And there you go. That's the news. Slow news. Amazing. Was that based on like just, hey, it's common sense, this is chicken?
It was the opposite. It was, hey, boneless wings are not a type of wing. It's a preparation style. And chickens have wings. Therefore, you should be on guard no matter what for bones. Yeah, some guy ate a chicken wing. It was boneless. He got a bone stuck in his throat. It got infected, and he sued everybody. The Ohio Supreme Court said, no. It's you should know that. You should know better. So it was an interesting court case.
Oh, amazing. Okay.
Okay. So.
Okay. I must have went on mute. Okay. Oh. Well, in the background, we got our homie producer Jordan.
Jordan. Shout outs to him.
Shout out to producer Jordan for flipping the switches, recording this stuff, and doing all the technical things on the background and making us sound halfway decent when this is all said and done. And I always like to shoot a shout out Randy for making the thumbnail and trying to keep us on topic. And he's been doing a good job of trying to help us find some new and interesting people to have on the podcast, which we're working on some new and interesting people to have on the podcast. So
shout outs to Randy. We have many interesting guests. So yes. Thank you very much.
So if you don't like what's going on this week, come back next week and maybe it won't be more of the same. So either way, like I said, how we're going to open this thing up is I want to talk about our badass new radiator. So this has been rumored for a while, and we've actually had test units for a very long time, but we really never went through and put it into production until very recently. But we're working with PWR. I just don't do that Australian accent quite as good as everybody else, but PWR to make a really, really nice radiator. Technically, we have two of them. We have what we're going to call a street series and what we're going to call a comp series. Now, that said, these aren't cheap. Okay, if you're looking for a sweet, cheap radiator, some alternative to your garbage Mishimoto junk, not happening. Okay. So first off, what we're making this for, and we'll explain Josh's question, why Boogie never had a radiator in it to test, was because we're only making this for the GR and VA chassis, and it's almost specifically for the VA chassis. The GR chassis cools significantly better than the VA chassis, but the VA chassis cools like shit. It has been known for years. It has issues getting air to the radiator, and once you add an intercooler to the situation, it makes it even worse. Okay, so what this was really built for was to try to cure the VA problem by making a really, really efficient radiator, and we have two of them. We have one that's going to be 42 millimeters thick and one that's going to be 55 millimeter thick. They're all going to be triple pass radiators though. Okay, so it is, these are going to be highly, highly efficient. And if you know anything about a CNR radiator, or PWR, same company. These are not cheap.
Oh,
I'm
it's the
just
same
gonna,
company. Wow, interesting.
yeah,
CNR is great.
yeah. I mean, same company. I'm gonna throw this out here, and I don't want everybody to freak out as far as costs go. But like I said, not cheap. Going up here, and I just want to make sure I quote this correctly, so I'm not. You're looking at $12.99 for the thin one and $14.99 for the thick boy.
That's over $1,000, not
Yes.
$20.
Yes,
So
these are very much not cheap radiators. Again, entirely designed for if you have a VA chassis and you are taking it to the track, I got to be real, these other off the shelf options, they don't work. It's not enough. This has been tested in our VA. We have it in a couple other we have it out there in a couple other vehicles that we've tested over the past few years, and it works really, really well. Even big power doing multiple laps, it kicks ass. You can use the OEM fan shroud with it, which is real nice. It'll all bolt right up. And like I already said, it's a triple pass setup. It's really, the fin density of this thing is pretty incredible. That's what you're going to get when you spend a bunch of money for a PWR setup. And we're going to be releasing it with testing that we found, but we were seeing, you know, at the crossover pipe, which is where we were measuring, almost 20 degrees difference in just like a lap. So it's pretty insane. At their peak temperatures, we were seeing a 20-degree difference. And being able to pull that amount out of your cooling system could be the difference between you finishing a lap or not, or having a good time or not, or your engine pulling a bunch of timing or not.
yep, that's pretty cool. That's a big difference.
Yep. We're also selling, I don't know if we're selling it with the hoses or not, but we will have hoses. I think we're selling it with the hoses. I think that was kind of don't quote me on that. But yeah, so GRVA, VASTI, we haven't had a chance to really check 100% fitment on the VAWRX. I don't see why it wouldn't fit, but we haven't done it yet, so I can't tell you it's going to work. But yeah, it should be a really sick setup. Very stoked about that radiator for the VA guys, because there are no good options.
Yeah, I remember I overheated my stock VASTI on stock everything on track. Crazy.
It's super easy to do. It's something to do with the way the front end is shaped. Just does not play well. You do some ducting and some other stuff that helps, but especially if you keep your air conditioning, you need by far the most efficient core you can get, and that's PWR. PWR is the same company that makes radiators and intercoolers and any other type of heat exchanger for like Formula One, IndyCar, NASCAR. Like, that's when they need a crazy ass heat exchanger, they go to PWR.
Yeah, they made an intercooler, a top mount intercooler for the STI that was double the fin density of the OEM Subaru STI intercooler, and it was still tube fin. So pretty darn cool.
PWR. All right.
Cool.
So
more products.
that's
Very
coming
cool.
soon. Those are actually available now. They're just not on the site. So if you're like mad interested in one, you hit me up. We could probably make it happen. We have a few of them already, and we have like a stocking order coming. We haven't put it on the site yet, because if we don't need. Last thing we want to do is sell all of these immediately. We're actually very surprised at how many of the shops out there are putting in stocking orders for our coilovers we have yet to even release. Like that's wild.
Oh,
That's
cool.
actually kind of blowing my mind.
You love to
I think
see
that's
it.
going to work out really well. You do. You love to see it. Producer Jordan, save me one. Well, let's talk after this. I'd be more than happy to help you out, Mr. Producer Jordan. All right.
Fantastic.
That's that. That's product news. That's what's going on in IAG performance right now. In shop and stuff we can do. But let's talk about some racing. So this last weekend, if you guys heard the last podcast, we tried to record it on the road, and it took us a few days to get up. We only had it out there for a couple of days. We're already recording a new one. But we recorded it from the road as I was driving up to Wisconsin to meet Dylan for Gridlife Summer Apex Festival at Road America. And I'm not gonna lie, Road America doesn't scare me from a safety standpoint on the track like it does with a lot of people. Don't get me wrong, there's some butt puckering going on, but it does scare me for the car holding together. It's hard on everything. And it's not just Subarus, it's everything. We saw LS's breaking, K-Spots breaking, diffs falling out of Vipers, like all sorts of stuff. Cars that are just rock solid normally, it's just hard on equipment. And it's because there are 3 insanely long straights on this track. It's like doing Road Atlanta, but having 3 of those straightaways in one lap. It's brutal. So
That's terrifying because Road Atlanta is not a small track.
No, and you just do that 3 times. It's nuts. I got to be real. I was actually really skeptical due to the size of this track, like the physical size of the grounds itself, that Gridlife was going to be able to pull off a festival here that made sense. What I can tell you right out of the gate is I think this event is better than Midwest Fest.
Whoa, that's saying a lot.
I'm telling you, dude, they have room now, and it's only going to get crazier. You know how we used to, when we first started going to Gridlife, we used to say it's like Forza Horizon in real life.
Yeah,
this is Forza Horizon. When you come around, what is that? So that would be 5, 6. When you come around 7, okay, and you're headed towards the corner, so that would be 8 just before the carousel. When you come around the corner and you can see the stage and everything back there, because the stage was back by the carousel. You come around that corner and drifting's happening over on the kart track, and the stage is out there. People are going nuts, and there are people camping every square inch of where they're allowed to get next to the track. It is nuts. I could not believe the amount of people that packed in there. The concert was insane. The area, the grounds of that where it was at, it all just made sense. And like, I can see why Chris had the vision. Even like Adam and I were talking, one of, let's call him the second in command at Gridlife. We were chatting, and even Adam was skeptical they could fill this place out. It was just blind trust to Chris, because every time you try to doubt Chris pulls it off. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And he was like, man, I don't know. And both him and I were both like, I can't believe, I'm not gonna lie, stuff on the track for a lot of reasons was kind of a shit show. Everything off the track was incredible. Okay.
Wow.
So let's just talk, just to put that out there. Like, the event was insane, and I cannot stress it enough. You need to go next year. But
yeah, you're telling me this in the third person because I said I was going to go, and then I didn't go. Got a little bit stressed with work, even though I was on PTO, and I was like, I just want a quiet weekend to myself.
You're good, bro. I get it.
Man,
I get it.
I missed a good one.
You did miss a good one, and Dead Mouse and all that going down. Like, it was wild. The karaoke thing that they did, T-Pain hosted karaoke.
Oh man, T-Pain and karaoke.
It was
at
insane.
Midnight.
Yeah.
I heard the after party.
Yeah.
I heard the after party was really good. There was like an after party concert in the woods with a fog machine.
Yeah, dude.
That sounds amazing.
The vibes are incredible. Okay. Yeah. Great vibes.
Man.
Maybe the best vibes. Okay. Warranty, is your name Joey? No.
No. Wait, you know me. D. Alex Butler. Ask that
He's
question.
just
He
being,
knows me.
yeah, he's just being that guy. All right.
Joey's great. I love Joey.
Uh,
Shout out
Joey
to Joey.
Jabari. Yeah, we all love Joey. He's kind of a shit talker and a complete asshole, but we love him. All right. All right. So then I'm on my way up there, and if you heard the podcast last week, you heard Dylan telling me that they were having issues with the RV. I get all the way up there, Dylan's like, this thing ain't happening right now. We don't know why. Okay. RV's barely moving. We don't know what to do. If we let it chill for a while, it seems to get down the highway okay, but it just ain't working. So I don't know what to tell him. I'm kind of stuck. Thankfully, my boy Boysen is there, and I had my 5-year-old with me. I had Oliver with me. So my boy Boysen let me sleep in his RV with him for the night, with Bubs, and then Dylan kind of limped it there, through the night. He got a couple hours of sleep as it would, chill out, and then he managed to get there. We missed the first session. We kind of knew that was going to happen. Not a big deal, whatever. The track isn't very technical, so it's more of getting the car right than getting the driver right. Not that there isn't time to be made on the driving point. It's just I know Road America pretty well. It wasn't like I had to learn a track. I had to learn the car to the track pretty quick, and that wasn't a big deal. So we went out for the second session. We started in the back of A. We had the option to go out with B, but we went with the back of A, and I don't regret it. I don't remember what we got down to. It was like a 221 or something. We were chasing some Viper around. We were having a good time getting the car felt out and what's going on. Immediately learned some things. The big one is the power steering feels like ass. Because we're hanging out at such a high RPM all the time, I'm cavitating. The power
pump.
steering, the pump is
Yeah.
hating
Wow.
life. And so I'd go to turn in, and I didn't know if what I was feeling was tire or power steering fighting me. That was a little scary, because especially as speeds are going. And following this Viper, we were significantly faster than this Viper, but oh boy, was trying to like point us by. He tried to, I couldn't believe this. So if you've been to Road America, the kink is terrifying. Okay. It's just this, it's a really high speed right hand kind of blind corner after the carousel. And it's a very dangerous corner, because if you screw it up, you're going to ping pong off the walls for quite a ways. You're basically, if you screw it up, you're losing the car. And we're blowing into the kink. I'm following this Viper, and he's about to turn into the kink, and he throws out the point by symbol. So he's got one hand on the wheel trying to point me by in the middle of the kink. I'm just like, oh my God, don't die. Went back way off.
That's terrifying.
But even in that lap was the one that I ran like into the bottom 220s, or like an 18 or something. I think I ran an 18 or a 19 or something. I don't know. The lap didn't really matter. But it got us kind of in the ballpark of where we needed to be. That ended our Friday. So we had a few things we needed to mess with. We bled power steering. We went and found, small stuff, nut and bolt check. We got our tires where they wanted to be. We were just checking the basics. You know what I mean? We did bleed power steering, and it felt a little better. But that was basically the idea. Went out the next morning, feeling pretty good. We were right behind Jackie Ding, in his new BMW M2 whatever he's running track mod in.
Yep.
And we put a barnstormer lap in. We're still on low boost. Okay, we're still on the let's scrub tires and not hurt the car boost.
The regular 580.
Yeah, the regular 580. And you can definitely tell we were on the regular 580, because for the first time in history, Jackie was murdering me on the straights, and I was making all of my time in the corners on Jackie. I couldn't believe it. I'm like,
Yeah,
I
that's
astounded that I'm running Jackie down in the corners, but
especially he's a class up, and it is a well developed car. It's not, I think, to the limits of the rules, but it's a very nice
it's not
car.
even close to the limits of the rules. And that car is very fat, but
Mhm.
he makes them horse ponies, let me tell you.
Sure does.
But it is a testament to how well Boogie is handling. So we ended up setting a 216.3, which was enough to break the street mod overall record and annihilate my old record
On low boost.
on low boost.
What was your old record?
My old personal best, and what stood for the all-wheel drive record for a really long time, was a 222.
Oh my gosh.
So we annihilated the old record.
That puts it into perspective because I didn't think you were slow back in 2018. We thought you were just a man on fire, and you're going 6 seconds faster.
Yeah,
That's crazy.
That'll tell you exactly how much more developed this car is.
Yeah, and plus you do have better brakes, so that does help a lot because you were just cooking your brakes before.
Brakes were huge for this. Okay, absolutely huge. We've got quite a bit more aero development. The car's quite a bit more balanced. The gearing makes more sense. I'm a significantly better driver. Okay, so there's a lot, and we really need to do not take away from the fact that I think we were running RE71s to start, and now we're on the RE71 RS. That was multiple generations of tire older. Okay.
Oh wow.
So in the carousel,
innovation doesn't stop.
yeah, in the carousel, there was definitely an advantage to the new tires.
Did you go flat through the carousel? I'm sorry, through the kink?
No, ain't no way I'm going flat through the kink. I've got to drag the brakes a hair going in.
Okay. Now is ABS working right for you? The BMW ABS?
ABS is working good. It's still a little squishy, but once I get through the squish, it stops exactly how I want it to. So it really kind of became me just trusting it to be there. You know, I would still do a little tap on the brakes just to make myself feel better before I go in, but it was always there. It never was not there.
That's good. So consistent.
Yep.
Tap it and you're there. Cool.
Yeah. And like Dylan said in the chat, that alignment though, seriously, that alignment was spot on. Let me tell you, it ain't now because you can thank Road America curbing for that, but man, the car felt really good. Okay. Not only that, Dylan also went through and changed a lot of how our preload and stuff was set up, and the car felt better. The bouncing is not completely gone. We're still fighting that, but it's better. It's significantly better. If the bouncing was how it is now compared to how it was at Mid-Ohio, I have no doubt in my mind we would have won Mid-Ohio. I'm not trying to take anything away from anybody else.
No.
It's not what this is, but we would have had that half second. So yeah, it felt way better, which is awesome. Okay. So
in 6 years, you gained 6 seconds on your previous time. 1 second per year consistently.
And that's all development. You know, there's, like I said, this car's so much more developed than what it was then. That was Pickle Boogie year one.
Sure, but that was still a fast car. You know that.
Well, I'm going to explain just how fast it actually was, too. So I came back in. I'm like, holy shit, man. We're getting absolutely stomped by Jackie in the straights. I wonder what we're doing on the straightaway. Okay, so we went and I looked at the data, and when our data from then, I remember we went 169 in the straights, okay, because we were 2 mile an hour less than Will All Young. And everybody was like, holy shit, that's nuts. This time, with still a healthy 580, but more aero development and probably some more drag, and there's a lot more to it. We were only doing 164 in the straights. So we were actually down quite a bit of straightaway speed, I guarantee our minimum speeds were way higher, but our straightaway speeds
Yeah.
were actually low. It isn't like we just horsepowered it, is what I'm trying to get at.
Oh no. I mean, you weren't horsepowering it before. It was just a much more brutal car.
Yeah. Yeah, well, it was a very unrefined car. And at the time it was kind of horsepowering it. It horsepower in very limited arrows, so we didn't make a ton of drag, was probably why we were able to achieve some of those speeds. There's some stuff that I kind of wish we had more time to do before Road America this year. Our temps were mint. So I would have
Fantastic.
liked to maybe plug the radiator grill hole for this event only, and test it to see if we could keep temps, because our temps were great. If we could maintain temps, that would have helped cut a lot of drag going under the hood.
Yeah.
Small stuff, maybe even remove the canards, like whatever we could do to make it a little more slick.
Yeah.
So DX Butler is like able to carry more speed in what portions of the track. So unfortunately, I don't have the aim data, the exact aim data from them. I'm still trying to dig that up. So I don't know exactly where all I picked up time, but I can tell you I'm for sure going through the carousel faster and the higher speed corners. So like one, past Canada Corner, leaving there, and then probably my exit off of 14 onto the straightaway are all probably significantly better. And I don't know if maybe I'm getting let's say like 130 faster than the old car either. I could be outrunning the old car to 130 like crazy, and then we just start pushing a decent amount of air there, but that like curve made up a bunch more time. So I can't really do a direct comparison. So either way, this is where shit starts getting real weird. This is a festival weekend, so we're running the festival format, okay? And
Right.
there is going to be some drama. So the way the festival format works is, in the end, you run this thing called the podium sprint, and you have to qualify for the podium sprint. We ran our record during qualifying, okay, to get into the podium sprint. We were way ahead. We were way ahead on that. So our plan was we didn't need to do anything to go out there and win. We just need to go out there and turn laps. We had to win though. In podium sprint, you have to qualify in the top 5, and then the top 5 get to run 2 laps, and the times you run in podium sprint are the ones that count for placement, not records, but placement. Okay.
Right.
So we had to go out there and run again, and it was hot. We weren't in the mood to go risking anything crazy. We just need to back that up again. So that was the plan. Just go out there as we did. The car felt great. I knew where I could pick up a little time in 14. And we already kind of knew, everybody kind of already showed their cards on how fast they were going to go. And with the temperatures going up and stuff, we were feeling pretty confident. Okay. The idea was to go out, run 1 lap, and then if we needed to get a little sillier on the second lap, we could go for it. Okay, because our temps were just mint. But we didn't think we were going to need it. So either way.
Okay.
Either way. For podium sprint, you were supposed to show up at a particular time and run at a particular time. But another competitor who happens to drive a Supra, I'm trying to see if he's in here or not. He is not. Either way. Kyle, who drives the Supra, was running 2. How he ended up in this position is kind of goofy, but he was running 2 classes with the same car. He was running street mod and track mod. The idea actually was for him to have 2 cars, but the second car didn't get built due to some drama outside of whatever this is. So he decided to take both of his tickets and run in one car, 2 classes. But this would have worked out if they would have ran podium sprint the way they normally would have. Okay, which is every car gets 2 laps, basically nobody on the track, so it's going to spread this way out. And especially how big this track is going to be, they would have spread it way out. He would have had plenty of time to come in, change his tires, nonchalant go get back in line to go out for track mod. Okay, but that is not what happened. They decided, for the sake of time, instead of everybody getting the entire track, they're gonna send all 5 of them at the same time and spread them out. Well, Street Mod was a shit show, and the other 2 competitors broke. Kyle, because he was running a separate thing, then somehow negotiated to get sent out in the front of Street. They just weren't going to show him. So he basically got free track time to go out there and run at the front of Street. And he ended up running like an 18 something. It wasn't even like some blistering crazy ass lap. Behind him, well, okay, so then he ran in a different class. So the only 2 people who went out for Street Mod were myself and Cal Fortner, who is in that AMG GT. Cal, who has been doing everything he can to try to keep this car in good shape and hoping for reliability issues come podium sprint, did everything in his power to do what he was supposed to do. He showed up at the right time. Okay. I go out first because I was qualified first. He goes out behind me and he gives it a huge gap. Right. We go around for our opening lap. I'm burning down the straight. Car feels great. Turn 1, car feels great. Turn 3, car feels great. I'm heading towards turn 5 down the straight. And whatever happened, we aren't 100% sure. We just know it's somewhere in the timing. We have not taken this apart yet. Okay. It could be an idler that fell apart. It could be a million different things. So we're not, I don't want to speculate as to what broke. Something broke in the timing though. Okay.
Terrifying. You lose a lot of expensive parts that way.
Yeah. Thankfully, after watching some video, it looks like it kept oil pressure almost to a complete stop. So I don't think we lost the bearings in the bottom end, but either way, it's probably coming apart. So I don't even know what I'm talking about. But hopefully, if anything, it's a bearing slap. We can get the thing back together, but the heads ain't going to be happy. I can tell you that right now. Something came apart in the timing. So I'm trying to figure out what's going on with the car as I'm slowing down for 5. And as I go through 5, I realize whatever it is catastrophic. I need to get the hell off the track. So a lot of people thought I lost it and went off the track. Okay. That isn't what happened. I was hauling into 5 and then I'm like, I'm trying to figure out what's going on. See if this is electrical. I don't know what's up. Okay. So I'm trying different things and I turn into 5, realize this car isn't firing. Something is wrong. Get the hell off the track. And I wanted to get off the track as fast as I could because I didn't know where Cal was. I wanted to make sure he kept a clean lap. Well, the track did the right thing and they threw a local yellow. They should have thrown a proper yellow or black flag the session, let Cal come in, get me out of the way and let Cal run a lap. But they didn't. They threw a local yellow, and Cal did the right thing with a local yellow and slowed down in that area. Okay, but so Cal ran the proper time. He went out there, but he had to slow down every time in my area. And ended up running like a 225 or something. Okay, but Cal never got a lap. He never got a clean lap. It was local yellow the whole time. We never completed a lap at all. The only person who got to complete a lap was the guy who wasn't in the actual class. Now, he would have had to do the exact same thing we would have if he was running at the time he was supposed to. This is where the drama hits. Still, in my opinion, okay, Cal gets first. We showed up when we were supposed to. We didn't make any weird exceptions to the rule or whatever. I still think there's an argument that we get second, or when there is a bunch of drama like this or something's going on, it's supposed to default to the times you ran in qualifying, therefore we won. Okay? But How it ended up going in the end is Kyle set a time, and due to the agreements that were made outside of anybody else, everybody agreed that Kyle set a time, Kyle wins. Cal, reluctantly, not very happy, gets second, but they also gave him spirit of the event because he kind of jumped on the nade for this whole thing.
Oh,
And then we
that's why he
third.
got it? Oh my
Yes.
gosh. I was going to say, knowing nothing of the story, Cal getting Spirit of the Weekend is not at all surprising, knowing who he is. But for this, that's kind of like a weird consolation prize.
It is entirely a weird consolation prize, and what I can say is because of how it went down, it should never happen again now. Like I saw this coming at Mid Ohio. I ran it up and down and screamed and hooted and hollered and everything I possibly could. Nobody wanted to listen. And then the worst possible case scenario went down. And my big complaint is you cannot do 2-car 1-class and make, if you want to do it, that's on you. Or sorry, 2-class 1-car. That's on you, but there will be absolutely zero exceptions made within the schedule. And if it fucks you, too bad. You want to do 2-car 2-class, especially with this, that's fine. You know, like James Houghton does that shit all the time. But this is how it went down. That's why there was so much drama and everybody got real quiet. Okay? It sucks, man.
You know,
Like,
this is kind of a butterfly effect problem. So Kyle's doing, what's best for Kyle. He asked for an exception. They gave him an exception, and it seemed totally reasonable on the surface. And then this happens, and he gets an unfair advantage.
This was the kind of what we were screaming was the unfair advantage the whole time. And then it blatantly came true in front of God and everybody.
So did the powers that be say, yeah, we're not going to let this happen next time? Or
the powers that be said this will never happen again.
Okay.
So like, they learned their lesson, and it is egg in the face of the powers that were in charge of this. There were agreements made for a lot of this stuff with higher ups that didn't realize what they were agreeing to is kind of what it came down to from my understanding.
Well, that's how it goes. You put a million rules in the rule book and you turn into SCCA.
Yeah, but we all agree to a rule book at the beginning of the season, and I look at a rule book as an agreement between, all the competitors that these are the grounds that we all agree on to compete in. Like, this is our sandbox, this is what we do. And like, if you allow somebody to step out of that sandbox for even if it's a small thing, like, that's breaking the trust of everybody.
Yeah.
Beth, there is no bribe or anything. All of it was in 100% just people trying to accommodate and like be good people. Like, I don't think anything was made in jest or ill will. I just don't think the people who made these decisions understood either A, the precedent they were setting, or B, how bad it could actually get. And it got that bad. So yeah, it was a rough one.
I'm sorry, man. So you set the record, but well, hold on. So there's a silver lining to this, which is out of the 5 cars that showed up for Podium Sprint, 3 of them broke, which means even though you didn't set a time in Podium Sprint, you got 3rd place. How cool is that? I still got
3rd place. Yeah. If everybody would have showed up and I still would have broke, I wouldn't even got 3rd place. So we were more reliable than 2 Corvettes.
When can you say that?
You can't. Especially on a track like this. This goes to show. And the thing that I thought was going to be hurt, or at least break or whatever, because I got to be real, it's a lot of load. It's a lot of load on an engine. You are just hauling ass for a crazy amount of time. It's so hard. I was expecting us to have a bottom end failure. And the bottom end was okay. Knock on wood. Okay, but the bottom end was okay. That's not what failed. And we'll find out what failed. We'll see what's going on. Maybe, who knows? Maybe it turns into product development for something else. That's why we race, so we can make stuff better. Okay, but that 2.3, man, she's a tank, and that was
unit.
really, she's a good unit. So
overall, sounds like you had a decent weekend. You came away with third place, but more importantly, the RV made it.
Okay, so the RV got there. Okay, it did get there, but it was still we'll go. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about where we sit right now. So then, what this vehicle was, what the RV was acting like, seemed like fuel delivery. And this is a lesson for anybody who's out there listening. This is a lesson. Just because you think you know what's going on in the black box does not mean you know what's going on in the black box. And before you throw parts at something, you might want to talk to somebody who knows what the fuck they're doing. Okay? I don't know shit about diesel engines. I just don't. Okay? I don't understand how they function. It's crazy. To me, it's organized knock. It's crazy. Okay?
Everything is backwards.
Everything is backwards. Nothing makes sense. So to me, the way this felt and what was happening is fuel delivery. It was acting like the engine was asking for fuel for whatever reason, and like a lift pump was not giving it correct, or like something was happening where it was cutting off fuel. Okay. And then the engine would freak out real quick and like take a second, try to gather itself, or like build fuel pressure back up and keep going. Now, we did not at this point understand that we could actually check engine lights on my dash. We found that out after we talked to somebody who knew what the hell they were doing. And the code reader that we had, unfortunately, there was a guy there with like a diesel style code reader, and it didn't work. The connector wasn't working. So, all right. So we limp it down to URW. Okay.
Ultimate Race
This is the
Works.
first time I've got to drive this thing. So we go from middle of Wisconsin down to Crystal Lake, Illinois. Now, I'm noticing that I can maintain about 60, 65 miles an hour, but it's kind of like cutting out every once in a while. You go up a hill, it cuts out a little bit. Or if I got to go from traffic and get going and it needs to build some boost, it freaks out. Okay. Which, again, still supports this is fuel delivery stuff, right? Because it's asking for a bunch of fuel. It ain't getting it. It freaks out. It cuts power. Or something happens. It cutting all power. I don't know. We're not exactly sure, but we're still leaning on thinking this is probably fuel delivery, right? We managed to limp it all the way over there. Now understand, this thing will sit in idle for hours, no problem. It's not an issue, okay? This only is a problem when you need to give it some beans. We're looking all over the place for the pump that we need for this. We're thinking it might be a lift pump. Then we find out the lift pump's actually built into the high pressure pump, and pumps for these things range anywhere from $1,000 to $5,000. They're crazy expensive. But we're about to just throw parts at this thing because we need to get it up and running, right? And to the point where we were so convinced this is what it was, at least I was convinced, that I wanted to just start ripping off the fuel pump right now. Like, let's just rip the damn thing off so that tomorrow morning we can get another one and slam it back on here. Okay. Thankfully, Dylan was being smart. He's like, we should check some codes, before we do shit. Dylan was a smart one in this. I was jumping the gun, but this thing is kind of entirely my baby. So on this, I outrank him. So I was about to get real dumb with it. Dylan finally talks me into, hey, why don't we call somebody to come out here with a code reader that works? And let's just take a look at it. Maybe it'll at least point us in the right direction. Okay. So I call somebody and they don't call me back. And at the same time, I'm also talking to a buddy of mine who's also a good customer of ours, Chris Ortega, who he works on diesel stuff for the electric company out there in the Chicago area. And he's like, I'm trying to like cut a deal with him coming to put in this fuel pump. Okay, because we've already came to the conclusion that maybe doing the fuel pump ourselves isn't a good idea because we don't know what the hell we're doing, and he can look at the rest of this car or this engine. And he goes, you know what? It makes sense. I'm just gonna come out tonight and kind of poke around at it a little bit. Holy shit. Is it a good thing that he decided I'm just gonna come out tonight and look around at it? He comes out and immediately starts poking around. We see it has a intake manifold leak that may or may not have been causing some of this, but he's like, dude, there is a way to check engine lights on your dash. I'm gonna look it up. So we look it up, find it, and because what he wanted to do was see if we were getting a low pressure on the high pressure rail, like a low pressure check engine light. That'll throw a check engine light for that.
For fuel or lack thereof,
for lack of fuel. And we didn't have a single one of those. What we did have was like 172 instances of turbo wheel speed.
Oh no.
Okay. So
Leave it to Dewey to overboost the RV.
Well, that's just it. What was happening, we think, is it sounds like the wheel speed sensor actually isn't correct. Like something's wrong with it. It didn't ohm out correctly when he checked it the next day or so.
Okay.
So something is wrong with the turbo wheel speed sensor. But I also have an exhaust manifold leak. Now, in a turbo car with gasoline, you would think, that's going to cause the turbo to spool less. We're going to have less power. It'd be like a header leak or something like that. In this situation, he's like, how it determines how much fuel it needs to throw. One of those things is turbo wheel speed. And if turbo wheel speed is too low, it will throw extra fuel. So what he thinks, he's fixing both of these, by the way, but what he thinks was actually happening is the turbo wheel speed would be low. It would throw a ton of fuel to spool it up, and then it'd basically overspin it and then throw the check engine, or it'd throw the check engine light for that, and then it would be like an overboost code and cut all power due to wheel speed. It was saved the turbo is what it was doing. And that's what we were feeling, is the ECU going nope, and basically cutting fuel so the thing slows down.
So before you continue, for people who are not super familiar with turbo cars, that you don't run a turbo at like full duty, essentially, because you can actually have the turbine wheel spin too fast and then it explodes. It just shatters and you lose a motor.
Well, in Boogie, that's one of the reasons we run wheel speed now. And it's like Borg Warners, like big EFR Borg Warners, they're notorious for people overspinning them. And it's really easy to do if you have like a boost leak, which he also checked for, because we're thinking, okay, turbo wheel speed, maybe we have a boost leak. Okay. No boost leak. But if you have a boost leak and you have a large turbo, it's actually bad for you to be running. You're not just going to have a boost leak. Your ECU is going to try to make that amount of boost, and it's going to spin the shit out of that turbo trying to get there. And you can blow your turbo up. Yeah. So like, if you have a boost leak, fix it.
Yeah, you're down on power and you're higher on danger. So
yes, everything's bad about a boost leak. It's not just I'm low on power.
And to a different extent, you could also get into like the surge section, but that's kind of a separate topic.
That's a whole separate topic.
Turbos can actually run away and produce more boost than the engine can handle on the exhaust side. So it basically becomes like a runaway train. But
diesels can do that for sure.
Yeah.
Like they can run right the hell away with themselves.
Yep.
So yeah, good times, right?
Because you can't bleed off the exhaust pressure through the wastegate sufficiently to make the turbo chill out. And diesels especially don't have
that's a little different.
Throttle bodies.
That's called boost creep, but yeah.
Oh, boost creep. Okay.
Yeah, I mean, you're not far off of that concept.
Nonetheless, respect your turbos.
Yes, boost leaks are actually serious business. Fix them.
So where's the RV now?
URW. Now here's the problem. this weekend is this thing called Flat Fest up in Wisconsin that I have been invited to be the guest of honor up there. Which,
No kidding. That's cool.
yeah, so I
Look
get
at
to
you.
be. Last year was Bucky Lassick.
Oh my gosh.
Okay, so I get to go up to this event and be king for a day, which I think is pretty sweet. So I was going to that no matter what. The plan originally was to send Dylan home in the RV, and they, try to figure out what's going on with Boogie. While we were up at Road America, we made the decision. We'll talk about like what does the rest of the season look like for us. That we're not going to be going to Lime Rock. There's just no way. The turnaround is way too much, and it's going to be too much for anybody here to get knocked out, and like it's crazy. Okay, so we decided we're not going to do that. So either way, I'm going up to Flat Fest, and I get to be the guy. Okay. And the plan was then after we decided the RV, I needed to come back, and Chris was going to fix it this week. Everything was kind of playing out. I'm going to fly up. I'm going to hop in the RV. I'm going to go up to Flat Fest. I'll stay in that for the night. And then Sunday, I'll drive the thing all the way to Maryland. And then like Tuesday, I'll fly home. Okay. Plan
Sounds
was
like
great.
a good plan.
It was a great plan. And then some nasty storm rolled through Nebraska. And I guess Chris, who works for the power company, here, they do this thing where they like recall a bunch of people and send them all over the place to help them. And it's a part of his like contract or whatever. And he was like recalled and sent to Omaha. So we're going to lose him for probably about 2 weeks. So that's going to set me 2 weeks back. So now
2
I'm
weeks.
just driving.
Oh my gosh.
Yep.
Man,
Yep.
what? There's got to be like a. Have you thought about any backup plans, like renting an F-150 and just pulling the trailer to Maryland? And
why?
So you could get a head start on fixing the car?
Okay. Well, we'll go on that in here in a second. Okay.
Oh, okay.
All right. So I'm going to, as soon as he's back, he's like, it could be anywhere between 3 days and 2 weeks.
Sheesh.
So either way, when he's back, we're going to, he's going to get that sorted out. I'm going to come up and I'm going to drive a thing to Maryland. But this weekend, I'm going up there, probably driving up my cross trek. You and I are going to go up there and we're going to do the Flat Fest thing. Okay.
Yeah,
so
we're going to trade to my car. We're going to take my car. Yeah. We're going to autocross it. You're going to be the guy.
We're going to go autocross it. It's going to be a good time. And
yep.
I get to be the guy.
Fantastic. It's going to be
It'll be a lot
time.
of fun. It should be a
like
good
old
time.
Times.
Yep.
High
so
speed,
if you guys want to
low
hang
drag.
out, you guys want to hang out, Flat Fest this weekend up in Wisconsin. Should be a really good time. I went there many, many years ago and it was a really good time. And it should be really good this time. They hold it at this like circle track. So like the autocross course runs inside of this like paved circle track. So it's I think it's going to be we're going to have a good time. Okay.
Yeah, sweet. I've always wanted to go. I've never gone to Flat Fest.
Yeah, they've done a really good job with that. And the Wisconsin community, I love you guys, but you're all a little strange. So it's hard to like crack that nut. So the more I go up there and the more I talk to people, I like at Road America, I talk to all sorts of people I never talked to before, and that's kind of crazy.
Yeah, nice, good deal. And it's close to home.
It's close to home.
Close
for
to
you.
home for me, anyway.
It sure as fuck ain't close to me.
No, it's not. It's about 10 hours away from where you live now.
Yeah, it's like 10 and a half is what I'm going to have to put into it. It's going to be even more because I'm probably coming to you first. I don't know. We're going to figure it out.
I mean, yeah. So
let's talk about the season. What? You're owing.
I want to say one more thing about Flat Fest. I was thinking about this today while we were prepping for this podcast. I want to say Flat Fest is the largest community-run event left standing.
I think it is too.
Chi-Town Subaru's Big Meet, but that hasn't run for a few years now. And the rest of the big events are now corporate through Subi Events, which is the promoter that Subaru
Wicked
America
Big
pays.
Meet, all of that. Yeah.
Right, yeah. Those used to be community and now they're corporate. Nothing against them. They're still a great time. But who's left doing true grassroots? It's
Yeah,
Flatfest.
this
So
is Flatfest. Is just
shout
some
outs to them.
bros putting some stuff together so everybody can get together. It's
Yep. It's a
pretty
lot of
cool.
work.
It is a lot. It's a ton of work.
It's a ton of work from doing the big
And
meet
let's
for
be
Chi-Town
real,
Subarus.
like
It's not
that event ain't
guaranteed.
gonna that event ain't gonna make a damn dime. Okay,
No, it's not supposed to.
it's not supposed to. It's by the community for the community, and those are the kind of events I love.
Yep. It's a thankless job, but thank you for doing it.
Oh, Flatfest, all proceeds go to charity. So if it does make any money, it gets donated anyway. So a lot of people are putting in a lot of work.
Even better.
To not help themselves. So I can't stress enough. You are in the Midwest, go check out Flatfest.
100% agree. Check it out.
Let's talk about the rest of the season. So what we had officially left on our calendar for the rest of the season was Lime Rock and Pit Race. Okay. Now,
right?
If we would have won this and the car was okay, hell, even if we would have won this and the car wasn't okay, we probably would have hauled ass to get it back and make sure we made Lime Rock. But from a season standpoint, we no longer can win the championship. It just doesn't make sense to cut our own throats on this.
Oh, okay. So you're mathematically eliminated?
We're pretty much mathematically eliminated because early in the season when we were, dicking around with wiring and all sorts of stuff, Alan Patton has won everything he touched. I got to be real. It got mathematically really hard when we didn't beat him at Mid-Ohio. But now it's pretty much mathematically impossible. So our plan was, we win this, we'll go do Lime Rock. If we win Lime Rock, we were going to go do Autobahn and win Autobahn. And then it would have came down to a throwdown at Pit Race. Like, Pit Race was going to be a war. I'm not saying Pit Race ain't still going to be a war, but it's not going to be quite what it was. Okay, so the plan is now we want to get the car back together for Pit Race. Pit Race is a super cool event, or a super cool track. It's over by Pittsburgh. It's got a lot of decent elevation. It's kind of technical. I really dig it. Honestly, cool. I think Boogie's going to be ballistically fast there, especially New Boogie, because there's a couple of like dig spots that really, really help having all-wheel drive. Yeah, it's going to be
spot for a festival too.
Yeah, this is one of those situations where I kind of want to I want to get the Subi events guys to this event, and I want them to see what I'm seeing, because I think you could hold a festival here. I think we could do. I think Subi Nats US makes sense there or St. Louis.
What track would you drive in St. Louis?
They have that Roval, so it's a NASCAR track. They do drifting and stuff just outside of, and that's obviously big enough to hold anything too.
Yeah, that would be pretty cool.
But either way, rest of the season, we're hoping to maybe get some test days in, play with some of this stuff that we've been trying to implement, but really haven't had time, and really play with a car. Yeah, what Connor said, Worldwide Technology Raceway, WTR.
Got it. Thank you.
Josh is asking if I'm going to Boxer Fest. I kind of have to, because we don't have enough staff for me not to go, so I'll probably fly out and just do Boxer Fest. I won't be doing Lime Rock, which is a bummer because I love Lime Rock. So that's kind of my that was Lime Rock, or that was Road America. So that's where we're at right now for the season. We're gonna try to get the car back, figure out what the hell happened, and rebuild stronger. I mean, what else are you gonna do, right?
Yeah, that's all you can do. But you've been there before, and you've come away better. Last week,
while we were on the road, this is something I definitely want to get out there. I may got a little heated about a particular conversation that happened on another podcast about Time Attack, and I
Say
maybe
it.
said
Say it
I
straight
was
up.
so
No weasel words. Say it straight up.
I said
No.
something.
Nope. No weasel words.
I'm not weaseling. I want to apologize because I was very heated, and I said I would like to punch this person in the face. I did say that. That was not okay. I shouldn't say that. Okay. So I apologize to Amir. I've already talked to Amir, but I wanted to make sure I was a little more public about it. That was not cool. Okay. And I shouldn't say those things. We still disagree. We don't agree to disagree, but we still disagree. And we both might be doing the Pro Awesome podcast here soon and arguing some more.
Oh, that's good.
I still am I still 100% believe in my opinion on everything that we talked about last week, but no reason to. Yeah, I was heated. By no means, I don't mean that by any means, but let's
Yeah. On the same token, while you're apologizing, podcast listeners have heard me say that Dewey will fight you in public.
Mhm.
I mean, he will debate you in public.
I will debate you in public. I will not fist fight you. I'm just not that
Nobody
guy.
got time for that.
I'm not that guy, and honestly, I don't have a good enough lawyer. So, but I like I didn't realize until after we uploaded it, it'd been out there a bit, and I guess he listened to it that I didn't even realize I said it until I went and pulled it. I'm like, yeah, that wasn't okay, and I need to do better. I need to be better, and I admit I need to be better. So my bad, guys. But that means people are listening.
All right, Alex Jones.
It's funny. Oh, Mike Puglisi is in here. What up?
The Flying Sicilian. That's right.
He might be.
Good to
He
see
might
him back
drive
on
an
track.
Evo, but he's always welcome here. We love him.
No, that's how you know you're doing okay, when like you're rooting for the Evo people.
Yeah, we
That's
share a lot of
right
data between
community.
each other too. Like Mike's
Yeah.
great peeps. Always one of my favorites in Gridlife, and it's crazy. I'm super stoked to be able to call him a peer. I used to look up to him. Like, I don't think he even realizes this. He was like one of my heroes when I first started into Time Attack. I'm like, this guy has got his shit together, and now we bounce data back and forth, and it's super awesome. And I see Drew finally made it in here too. That's cool.
Who else we got in here? Got some familiar faces.
Dylan's in here. We see Fred from IAG. Is that the actual Fred is in here? I think that's the first time I've ever seen him in one of these. So that's interesting. What's up, Fred? Nice seeing you.
Got a comment in the chat from Dan Persing. Dewey, just wanted to say thanks for your help at Road America. We made your trash can cooler shroud, and it worked perfectly for the rest of the weekend.
That's
all right.
That's what I'm talking about. So he came out, and then he I think they had a Perrin cooler on their car, and it didn't have any sort of ducting. And I'm like, look, man, at these high speeds, air's just going to go around the cooler. It won't go through it. If you build some sort of duct on the front of the cooler, it's going to help. I did this once back when I was at Road Atlanta, and it completely changed my oil temps. And what I built it out of was a Walmart trash can, like the plasticky crap Walmart trash cans.
For like
and some
$5.
HVAC tape. Yeah, and it changed everything. So Josh is like, Perrin is Cetrab. No, it doesn't matter what it's made out of. If the air's not going through the cooler, it ain't going to work. Heat exchangers need air to go through them for them to function. So no matter how nice your cooler is, let me put it this way. The most expensive damn cooler on the planet versus some eBay trash. If the eBay trash has got good ducting, it will outperform the most expensive cooler on the planet. Hands down, every single time, if it has no good way to get air through it, or it's like in an open environment. It's just how it works. Shrouded it and added 540, and it was wonderful.
Got a BRZ. Ooh. zero weight oil on FA motors. 0W30 or 40. I will debate you in public.
Yeah, you're wrong, but okay. Yeah. They make a duct specifically for those, just a tip. Well, I mean, yeah, they needed to make it right now. Now they can take whatever they made and go make something nice. Okay.
Oh,
So,
another thing. This is not from a comment, but IAG dropped a new video about their BRZ project car. Everybody go watch it.
oh
I haven't
yeah.
seen it. We should
So
totally watch
I
it.
don't know if you guys noticed that we do have a BRZ project car. It's pretty sweet. And we're gonna be doing a bunch of stuff to it. We were doing a bunch of testing on a bunch of different products. And we're real excited. So we did an introductory video on it, but we've got a lot of really cool stuff coming for it, including our new coilovers. We're working with Apex wheels on some stuff. Like it's cool, super cool
Sweet.
stuff. And Beth is in the chat. Yeah, with yeah. Yeah, we're not gonna get into some stuff, but I'm gonna get revenge from that video ASAP. There is
I haven't seen it yet, but I'm double
yeah.
looking forward to watching it now.
Yeah.
If Dewey gets told, there.
Yeah, it wasn't exactly that, but we'll explain the whole thing later. You watch
Okay.
it and I'll explain it. So
Okay. We got a bunch of IAG people here in the chat, so they're having a great time.
no, I'm sure. Yeah. All right. So, I had somebody who sent me a message, and he had something he wanted to ask me, and I tell everybody to hit me up. Heinrich. I'm not sure exactly where Heinrich is from. Okay, but either way, what he asks is like, I love the podcast. I know you do a lot of track talk. But what he wants to talk about is a street beast.
Okay.
Basically,
Love
his
me a
thoughts
street
are
beast.
he wants a high torque. How that doesn't read right. Let me read this because I think some of it was translated funny.
Okay.
He's looking for about 4 to 450 wheel. Would you still use the D-stroke 2.5? He's like
Street
500
beast.
wheel horsepower for a tenth of a second isn't fun on the street. So I agree. So let's chat about this. Okay.
So he said, does he want a high torque build, like a rally car type build, or we're going to get to that?
What it sounds like he wants a fun street build, but what I can tell you right now is, let's say this is one of my favorite builds you can put together. All right. What this actually mimics is a lot what the guys put together in street class, but these make phenomenal street cars. They're super reliable. You can have a ton of fun. You can do just about anything with it. You make about 450 wheel, and especially like a GD chassis, like one of a quasi lighter chassis, you can drive the wheels off of that thing. You could even turn a high 10. Okay.
Oh man, that's cool.
It's flying. Okay. But you want to go to the track, you can do that too. Want to take Grandma to the grocery store, you can do that. It's and you can do this all with really basic bolt-ons. 450 isn't hard.
You would use a stock motor. You could get away with a stock motor for that.
No, I don't recommend that at all.
But Dewey, YouTube makes 600 on a stock block.
Yeah, YouTube makes 600 on a stock block. They blow up and then they don't tell you about it. What I'd recommend for people on this, in the block I would recommend, is the IAG 750. Okay. Anything over about 420 wheel, if you want the thing to last, go closed deck. Okay. The cylinder walls, they're thin. All right. If you want it to last, get some mileage out of it. You don't really got to worry about it. Just get the damn 750. It's cheap insurance.
All right. So it's a little different from just bolt-ons, but what else goes on the car?
Well, but what he's asking is, would you still do the D-stroke 2.5? And my answer to that is no. And my biggest reason I'm going to say no to that is, at under 400 or under 500 wheel horsepower, you're not going to have a turbo big enough to make a D-stroker make sense. The reason you D-stroke these engines is really for revs. They're trying to open the power band up as much as you can. But if you're only going to, if you're under 500 horsepower, honestly, especially with a stock location turbo, 72, 7300 is like max you're really going to want to rev it to, or it's going to fall on it. Past that, it'll fall on its face because you're stuck with this really small hot side. Really nothing you could do about it. No, don't get me wrong. There's cases of some stock location turbos making, okay horsepower up there. But honestly, once you pass about 500 wheel, your power band starts getting really narrow because you're trying to suck through a 2.4-inch inlet and you're trying to breathe through a 10 centimeter hot side. You really should be going rotated at that point. But 450, you're still well within that efficiency range. So like a Blausch 1.5 XTR and an IAG 750 2.5 liter is about perfect. So since you aren't going to use the revs of that D-stroker, you're better off with the crank and having that torque. Like there's the trade up, there's no reason to make that trade if you can't use it. You know what I mean?
So let me get this straight. So you would get the highest stock location turbo you could get.
But it's not. A 1.5 XTR is not anywhere near the largest stock location turbo you can get. But in my opinion, it's one of the last stock location turbos before they start getting very inefficient.
God, that's what I'm asking. Okay, so not the biggest, but the biggest one worth buying. Okay. So would you put a front mount intercooler on it?
Yeah. Once you pass about 350 wheel, front mounts start making a lot more sense. Good efficient front mount. Even if you were to do like a Cobb, that's fine. I prefer ETS. Their cores, again, you're not going to be an ETS core. You don't need a crazy thick one. You don't need some like 4.5-inch monstrosity. A 3-inch core is plenty.
They save a little weight on the front end of the car.
Let's say you're in a situation where you wouldn't even need to put a front mount on this. You might sacrifice a little bit of top end and probably a little bit of horsepower. And yeah, it might heat soak if you're beating on it on track or whatever. But if it's mostly a street car, you're bombing around the mountains.
Yeah,
weekend good times. And it's mostly just squirts of having fun or ripping up to 100 with your buddies or whatever. A good top mount will get you there. An ETS top mount will get you into those like low to mid 400s.
Well, what about a CNR where it's tube thin, it's very lightweight, like the OEM STI intercooler?
It's an option.
It's just a whole lot lighter than a front mount intercooler hanging over the axle.
Well, the big reason I don't want you to stick a front mount on if you don't need it is because you're just going to add an extra core, a heat exchanger in front of your already existing heat exchangers.
Yeah. Now I know this is
the AC and all that a lot. This is probably the answer. But again, you don't really need much, and then it's your basic bolt-ons. You can use Cobb's, green speed-esque flex fuel stuff. You can use all that, and the thing just runs. This is a great setup. So, but his big question was, would you use the D-Stroke 2.5 or not? And the answer is no. I wouldn't.
Yeah. Now, this gentleman's in Germany, so I don't know if in a perfect world he could get a standalone ECU or if he's limited to using Cobb because it's easier for him to pass
he very well could.
inspections.
I don't know. And I know their inspections are no joke there.
Yeah. But we have it good in America.
We have a lot of, with that build, he has options for days. You can do all sorts of crazy stuff.
So what else would you do? Catted downpipe because Catless really doesn't make any more power anymore. And
that and like if you got to keep it green speed compatible, you need it anyway.
100%.
I do our V3 TGV housings. I do a good set of equal length headers.
Yep.
The internal wastegate actually would work fine. You need a set of ID 1300s.
Okay. Flex fuel.
You need a good fuel pump, preferably hardwired, but you can still do that in tank.
Would you go for a surge tank or not bother with a street car?
You're not going to really need to bother with a street car. Drop-in fuel pump, hardwired will be plenty.
Okay. I wonder if you can get ethanol blended fuel in Germany.
Maybe.
Can you get 70 or 85% ethanol?
I don't know. I know we got damn near 90% straight out of a frickin' pump.
Where?
In Wisconsin.
Man, Wisconsin is weird.
Yeah, ask Dylan. We tested it twice. We're like, there's no way that this is this shit hot. It is.
Who's using that stuff? Were you close to the drag strip? There's a drag strip up there. Great Lakes Drag.
There is. And he might have actually got it fairly close to that, but it came straight out of a normal pump at a Quick Trip.
Sweet.
I mean, it was some steamy, good, yummy, frickin' Midwest corn yumminess.
Yeah, sweet. Good deal.
Yeah.
So, yeah, IAG, going back to this Street Beast build, IAG
Yeah.
TGVs V3, those pass emissions, right?
Yeah, because we
Oh,
have the all of the goodies are still in there. Now we are working on making them 50 state legal. They don't have carb stickers yet. There's a lot going on with that. We're really hoping that happens very soon, but I can tell you that's in progress. I
okay.
can't really say much else past that.
Man, talking about this STI Street Beast makes me want one. 400 wheel horsepower, thereabouts, top on
That's when I
intercooler.
put the silver car back together. Literally, the build I just told you is what I'm putting back in that.
Oh,
It's
man.
perfect. It's 4 to 450. Hey, there's a very good chance I'll even leave it on the top mount. Like it's going to be great.
Yep.
It's exactly the amount of power you need. It's honestly too much power for Tail of the Dragon. It'll be awesome.
Yeah. Yes, it is.
Dylan says Corvette with a cam. I mean, he ain't
Can't
wrong.
put 4 people in a Corvette,
But
though.
I can't put 4 people in a Corvette, and I could drive this wherever I want. I'm a big fan of this setup. He's like, bet. Okay, let's go ice racing with your Corvette. Tell me how that works out.
Man, yeah, that'd be great. Take the wife ice racing. Great photos.
Can we get an opinion on why or why not to delete the radiator cap from Subaru Radiators? Well, I don't understand why you'd want to delete it anyway. But understand that the top and the bottom cap are different.
They're different pressures. They serve different purposes.
Yeah, and I'm trying to remember which one was which, so I'm not going to sit here and try to quote it, but they are different. You can't just buy the same radiator caps top and bottom. Pressure side on downflow. Well, there you go.
All right.
I don't know why people are hell-bent on trying to delete radiator caps. I don't understand that. Or desperately trying to get rid of the upper reservoir. Like, all you're doing is making burping your coolant hell. Why would you do that?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't think about these things. Think about driving.
Yep. Yeah.
All right, Dewey. Well, I will see you, I think, tomorrow. Tomorrow late, right? I got a place for you to stay.
Late, I think, boss. I think that's going to be the plan. I'm trying to think if there's anything else fun to talk about right now, but we got any questions in the chat? Let's see it. But past that, I want to do a really quick zip through bear with me, guys. The different places I posted this. I just want to see if anybody posted any other new comments that we didn't get
Left
to.
some comments, yeah.
And but other than that, I think that's about it. What is that? We're kicking him out. Okay. Don't post anything for sale inside of the Subaru Insiders Lounge. The IAG Insiders Subaru Lounge. Do not post things for sale. Somebody's about to get their junk slapped. We don't be doing that, okay? And I don't know why junkyards think that's the new thing for them to post in every single group they can get a hold of. It's getting really annoying. So, yeah, I think it's about it then.
All right, man. In that case, I will see you tomorrow. I got a place for you to stay the night if you don't want to get a hotel. If not, we'll park your car and we will take mine and we will go get a hotel.
We're probably just going to go get I'm probably going to go straight and we're going to get a hotel. I might have you actually beat me there so that I can just go straight to bed.
Oh, yeah, that sounds good.
Yeah, because I'm probably coming in fairly late and I want to get some actual sleep.
Okay, sounds good to me. You tell me when and where. I will check in. My name is Eric DeWitt, spelled D-E-W-I-T-T.
Capital W. If you don't capitalize the W, I'm going to knock you out.
Yeah, the IRS will come calling, right?
See? I said it again. I'm going to knock you out.
Well, I know you. It's different.
But I know, but we need to 100% purge that from my vocabulary.
Okay. That's fair. I'll be the grandmother. I'll be the stability control.
You just need to go. You don't mean that.
You don't mean that. I know you don't mean that. It took me a little while to learn that, when you and a couple of your friends would say all these awful, hateful things, it means they like you.
So, yep. All right. Sounds good, man. So it's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun. If you like what you're doing, what we're doing, do us a huge favor. Please like it on Spotify. Subscribe, leave us comments. The more we stir it up on Spotify, that's kind of like the goal this quarter is kind of stirring it up on Spotify and trying to get those numbers up. But do us another favor, share it. Share it. Okay? However you found this, share it. I'm gonna repost the thing on Facebook later. Share that too. Share it. Please share it. It helps a ton. So all right, guys, it's been real. It's been fun. It's been real fun, and we will see you next week.